Hi, welcome back. So now we will start with BCM, which is Bank Communication Management. So this is a module in SAP and it is implemented to address or to provide following functionalities. First, through this module, whenever a payment file is created for vendors or for customers, which is a direct debit, or the treasury payment files which are created in F111, all these payment files, before creation, they go for approval. And this approval happens in BCM, Bank Communication Management. So we will go into the SAP and see where the approval happens, how you can see the files and then approve or reject them. Now, approval can be by one level of authority or multiple level of authorities. Could be by manager, directors, controllers, etc. So that's the one functionality for which BCMS implemented. Second thing is BCMS provides a status monitor. So when you send a file to the bank, how do you know what is the status of file? Whether the file is accepted by bank, rejected by bank, or is still in process. So in BCM, you can know the status of your file, whether the file is approved or not. That's first step. If it is approved, the payment file is created and sent to the bank. And if it is sent, whether the bank has accepted or not. So there is a two-way connection between bank and SAP system. This is generally done through some third-party integration, which is Swift or network. And through Swift network, you get the incoming status from the bank of your payment file, which confirms whether the file has been accepted or rejected. Now let's look at the image or flowchart on top. It says payment run 1, 2, and 3. So these are the payment runs which we do in SAP. The transaction code is F110 for vendor payment, F111 for treasury payment, FPY1 for contract accounting payments. And once the payment runs are completed, there is a transaction code called merge payment. So under the merge payments, multiple payment runs are combined to create a single payment file. We can give criteria on which the payment files are combined to create a single payment file. Sorry, it's not a single payment file, it's a single payment batch. This is very important. In this transaction, the payment runs are combined to create a single payment run batch. And now it is this batch which goes to BCM for approval. So we will go to BCM, see the batch, it will wait for approval. And if it is approved, then only the payment file is created. So as it is given in the PPT, the payment file is created only after the approval. This ensures there is no change in the payment file before it is approved. Okay, so payment run is not creating the payment file. Payment file is created only after the payment batch approval in the BCM. Once the payment file is created, it goes to the bank. You can have a middleware like MuleSoft or their IBM WebSphere or some other middleware which will integrate with the third-party network like like Swift network or multi-bank connectivity, and that will send the file to the bank. And once the bank receives the file, it will send back the acknowledgement, which is in a file format called PAIN002. That gets updated again in BCM, and so we see the status of the payment file in BCM. Now, let's look at the configuration of the BCM as usual. And once the configuration is done, we will go through this end-to-end business process where we will create a payment run, create a payment batch, approved in BCM, create a payment file, and check its status in the BCM. Okay, so there are two critical parts of BCM configuration. First is the implementation of payment medium workbench, and second is configuration of BCM Bank Communication Management. Now, payment medium BCM works only with the payment medium workbench. So we have to implement payment medium workbench. So to implement payment medium workbench, following configuration is required. the transaction code OBP M1, M2, M3, M4. So I will be going into system and doing this configuration. Then we have to configure the automatic payment program, which is transaction code FPZP. This is for the payment method, vendor payment methods. For the treasury payment method, that we will cover in cash management. But that will also route through the BCM, bank communication management. And then we have to create a payment medium workbench variant and also assign the variant. So let's go to the SAP and do this configuration. So SPRO, financial accounting, account receivable, accounts payable, outgoing payments, business transactions under this, then outgoing payments, automatic outgoing payments, and here payment media, then make settings for payment medium workbench. So let's look at this. So in this transaction, create and assign selection variant. We have to assign the payment file format which will be used for the payment. So we are going to use the payment file format PAIN001, which is the standard file format for payment across Europe. The other is ACH, which is generally used in US. But PAIN001 is a more popular one. It's used in US also. Yep. So this is the file format which we will use, US CGI XML CT, for the payment within the US. Now these file formats, these are standard file formats which are pre-delivered on SAP. You can select them. However, in case you have to create your own file format, which is provided by the bank, or you want to make an adjustment to any of these file formats, you have to go to transaction code DME in SAP. And this is explained in detail in this course, payment automation in SAP Wire and ACH. So you can go to this course and that will provide you details about creating a payment file using DME for various file formats. So our company code is 1710, and whether our house bank is there, well, we have our house bank city 1. So place the cursor, select the variant. So I will rearrange these steps. The first step should be to create the payment medium variant, and then we come to this transaction OBP M4 to assign it. Okay. $38, and you can enter the program SAP FPAY1, which is given in the presentation here. Then just run it. Now here you have to create the payment run. So this is for this company code 1110, but ACH. Okay, we create our own. So our file format is USCGI XMLCT. Select data medium exchange and select output to file system. And with this you can save it. 1710 US CGI. And save it. Okay, so we created a variant. Now go back and come again. Click change here. Select the file format USCGI. Company code 1710 and our house bank city 1, which we created earlier. Now assign this variant. And then we have UBank, Union Bank of California, to that also this. Okay, save it. So that's what is required as part of critical step for payment medium workbench. Another thing, you go to this automatic payment program configuration, FPZP. Now this will be covered in detail in another course, which will again be launched on SAP FI Finance, end-to-end configuration and testing in S4. But let me go through it, what is required for our course. So all company code, make sure your company code 1710 is here. Sending and paying company code, the company code which will send the payment, and paying which will make the payment. If you select payment method supplement, you can add that. Special GL transactions are like vendor down payments, which can be selected if they have to be used. Then paying company code, which is again 1710, which should be there. If it is not there, you can press new entries and add it here. Do you want to restrict any incoming, minimum incoming and minimum outgoing amount? If that, you can give the details here. And other details like no exchange rate differences. Then this payment method in country is very, very important. So we are using it for US. 2 banks were created for US. And let's see what payment method are we going to use. One is this T, which is bank transfer for treasury. Then this will be, treasury will be F111. Then let's look at other, this is check. Yeah, so we will use the payment method ISO, I, which is paying 001 credit transfer. So payment method I. Again, if it is not there, you can just click new entries and create it. But because it's existing, let's select it and check the details. So country will be US, payment method I. Give the description. This is for outgoing payment. Bank transfer, you have to select. Bank details, if you select, you have to enter these bank details in the vendor master. So this will be required because it's an online payment file. You need to have the account number. And so when you create a vendor master, enter his bank account number there. And what is the payment file format? Which is a file format which will be used to create the payment file. So this is US CGI XML which we did just now. Okay, so that's it. The other tab will be currencies allowed. If you don't put any specific currency, all currencies are allowed. If you can give any specific currency, payments are restricted only with that specific currency. So let's say I want to create some, just to show it how to do it, let me create one more B, payment method B. So country is US, payment method B, test, ISO payment method, outgoing bank transfer. You select bank details and select account number. What do you want to have? Mandatory account number, or you can even have IBAN number and SWIFT code. If these are international payment, make sure that SWIFT code is selected there. Otherwise, bank details are fine. Document type will be ZP. That is a document type which is used. So put payment posting, clearing also same document type ZP. And then select the use payment medium workbench. So classic, if you use classic payment medium program, BCM will not work. You cannot integrate BCM with the classic payment medium program. So you have to use payment medium workbench, and here you select the format, which is US CGI XML which we have selected earlier. You can create your own file formats as using DME, and that can also be assigned here, and then save. So I just saved this payment method B, but let's delete this one as we are going to use payment method I. Yeah. Okay. So this completes the configuration required for payment medium workbench. In the next video, we will look at the bank communication or BCM configuration. Thank you.